Ben, thank you very much for joining me today. I would like to kick off from one of my favorite questions, which is, what motivates you in life?
I'd definitely say my kids do. I've got two young kids. It motivates me to find a solution where people can live the modern lifestyle, which in a lot of different ways is very high electricity, high powered with things like artificial intelligence, mobile phones, electric cars, etc. But it motivates me as well to find a solution where businesses can provide a product and service for their customer, but ultimately it doesn't have a negative impact on the environment or a net negative impact.
Someone could make it happen. What would you ask that person to help you with?
How can all this money that people spend on tourism go towards making the industry a better place? How can you directly funnel this spending? All this money that gets spent by tourists, right? Let's just use accommodation as an example. How can some of this money, even a percentage, get funneled directly towards improving or let's say reducing emissions in the industry? Someone can help me do that. That's what I'm trying to do. If someone can help me do that, then yeah.
Let's let people know you a little bit better. So if you can talk a little bit about your background, your life before Solar Palz, let's just start from, who are you?
So I have a background in clean technology, in mobility and also in battery technology as well. I came back from China at the end of 2022, so I was working there for a long time. I was working in a few different roles. The main one was with a company called New Technologies that makes electric mopeds, motorbikes, electric scooters, electric bikes.
This is the beginnings of the story. This is where the Solar Palz started, like because of what you've done in China.
Yeah, so the main interest came from my time in China and being exposed to clean technologies, if you like, through my work, but also just through sort of hobbies as well. But the idea from SolarPalz actually came when I was in India. I left China in 2022, but I have some really good friends that from India who were living in China with me at the time, and we all left at a similar time. So we met in India for a little trip. We went to Goa, which is a really popular tourist destination in India. We were staying in a villa where there's lots of back-to-back villas, similar type of setup to an Airbnb, but there weren't any solar panels on any of the roofs. So it kind of just stoked my interest a little bit. Why in a country with so much sunshine, all year round, reliable sunshine, why are these places not covered in solar panels to create free, clean electricity? So it took me down a bit of a rabbit hole, and I looked at it from a tourist's perspective, and looked a lot more at the industry and how closely clean energy and tourism and in particular accommodation is linked together, not just in India but in the world. So that's where the idea came from. I was just sat in a swimming pool looking at a load of empty rooftops, thinking, how can tourism and clean energy come together to increase adoption and reduce emissions?
Tell us a little bit about the Solar Palz. What exactly is your business? What problem are you trying to solve with it?
SolarPalz as a platform intends to allow accommodations. So it can be if you're a hotel, if you're a guest house, if you're a camping site, it doesn't matter. If you offer accommodation to customers, to guests, you can list your clean energy projects on the platform. Okay. So you can say, we're looking to raise this amount of money, and then what we're going to do is we're going to sell X amount of packages to tourists. And what we're going to do is the hotel, the accommodation, we're going to promise that the money that you spend on that package, which could be a night stay, it could be any type of service or product the hotel offers, but we're going to commit to putting your money towards clean energy upgrades on our site.
So basically, the company that will receive money through you from the customers won't be able to spend that money on anything else.
Right.
Basically, it will be to update the current sort of energy systems that they have and make them more sustainable.
Correct, exactly. Yeah, spot on. So SolarPalz will directly hold that money in an escrow account, so a third-party account, and then that money will be paid to the clean energy installer directly to do the install.
And then the customers will have whatever the service they purchase for the same price for whenever they want to use that service, the price will be already booked, correct?
Correct, yeah. A lot of people like to go back to the same place. So you can buy a package that says 10 nights, which you can split into 2 nights, 2 sets of 5. So let's say I want to go to a place this year and then I want to go back again next year, or I want to go back in 2027. But those nights are already locked in.
So where are you right now with SolarPalz?
So I'm building the platform with the help of a friend, the first version. So we decided that the first MVP is going to be very clearly focused on helping accommodations list their projects as quickly and as simply as possible onto SolarPalz. So that's where I'm at the moment with the product. I'm building it at this moment in time just for accommodations to showcase their projects, and then build interest and demand from the tourist side to start with. So just to start really on ensuring that we have a good quality supply of accommodations listed on the platform, and that they're vetted very well, they're popular places as well. You know, just to add some really good credibility to the platform, which gives obviously guests and tourists confidence when they're booking stays.
Are you focusing on certain specific area at the beginning, or you're just going whichever area, whether it's Europe or India or like Asia or USA, because all of those places have, you know, warm countries. Do you have a specific area that you're going after?
The main places we're targeting are definitely the ones that need support the most. But also there has to be that strong demand, obviously, from tourists to book solar stays. So it's a two-sided equation.
What kind of challenges have you faced so far?
The biggest challenge definitely is being a newcomer to the industry and figuring out how it works. I've traveled quite a lot. I've obviously stayed in hotels before, but getting to grips with how the actual market works and how people buy stays, how they buy experiences, how they buy holidays is one thing. The other thing is just trying to build the first version of the product. That's been a challenge. At the moment, like, I'm funding the progress of SolarPalz by myself. Obviously, finding the best way to make your own savings work is difficult. AI changes things, seems to change things every few months as well. What you can do, what you can't do, how much it costs. I'm not a technical person at all. So as a non-tech founder, I had to just really figure out who does what. And like, I don't know anything about coding, so I have to find out what code it does, how a website is posted. I have to just learn all these things. And that's obviously navigating that is extremely difficult as well.
Are you looking for a co-founder at the moment?
I think that when the time comes, it would be great to find someone that's as passionate about travel and clean energy as I am. That has this, you know, it understands the vision. I know it's going to be difficult though, because it's a similar situation like mine where obviously I'm not paying myself a salary. I'm looking at other sort of ways to promote the company and bring some revenue in at the same time. Also, I've got savings that I've had for the last few years, which I always wanted to put into my own business. So I would look at definitely having a new full-time co-founder, but ultimately that would, you know, work with me similar to on an equity basis as well.
What's the plan for the next 6 months?
So yeah, the next 6 months, we're looking to build the platform, get that first version into the hands of accommodations. You know, I want to have 50 good quality accommodations listed by the end of the year. Not necessarily completed projects, but 50 accommodations listed there, really good quality accommodations which are popular in hotspots, if you like, where, you know, the parameters I mentioned earlier, that they fit the narrative. From the other side of the equation is building a really strong waiting list as well, of tourists, of guests that say, okay, I want to support sustainable projects. There's certain accommodations which maybe I can recommend, but also I want to support, which maybe they go back to once every 2 years or maybe even every year. It's quite common.
Are you looking to raise funds?
I will fundraise eventually. My aim is to raise the money by the end of this tax year, probably by March next year. So look to probably raise funds when, you know, we have a really good supply of accommodations listed on the platform. We've built, you know, good traction and demand from the customer and the guest side of the platform, which hopefully will be around March next year. Yeah.
What is that grand vision of SolarPalz? Where is it in like 5-10 years maybe? How do you see it?
The grand vision for me is to build a business model similar to holiday clubs, where it's a point system, similar also to timeshares, where people wouldn't necessarily fund an individual project. What they would do is they come onto the SolarPalz platform and they say, okay, I want to buy 2,500 points, if you like, which would cost, say, 2,500 euros, pounds, dollars, what have you. And those points, you can use them and you can redeem them at hotels, essentially, partner hotels. Still, all the money, all the points you spend goes towards clean energy, but it's a lot more of a flexible system. I don't see why this can't work any differently, but it'd be so much better for the adoption of clean energy in a point system. And then hopefully you can tie in their partnerships then with airlines, with hotels. This point system brings everything into SolarPalz. And all these credits are going towards clean energy adoption.
On the personal level, why did you decide to become an entrepreneur, like start your own business? Didn't you know how difficult it is?
Yeah. And I think sometimes I think that I must be mad. I've always just sort of enjoyed building, you know, like your own little micro business, no matter how big it is. So that's always like been a thing with me. And then also when I lived in China as well, I was working with a friend on our own company as well, importing spirits and gin, vodka, liquor from the UK into China. So yeah, I've always done like entrepreneur stuff and then a regular job, if you like. Entrepreneur stuff, regular job. Entrepreneur stuff, regular job. And now it's just back to doing the, diving into the entrepreneur side thing again and just testing myself, something, and generally something that I care about, right? Like climate change is just getting worse. Like it's the emissions in tourism that get measured every year are increasing and increasing. And it's something that I care about, having kids and seeing the future and wanting them to enjoy the same holidays that I did when I was younger and equally have like a better experience. But ultimately people need help and support and a platform to be able to, adopt clean energy technologies.
If you could sit down with yourself on the first day of starting this, knowing what you know now, what's the single most important piece of advice you would give to yourself? One thing that you would change.
I think that change expectations, how slowly things start to materialize compared to how I thought they would. Definitely, being through the first 6 months now, looking back, I'd say to just be a little bit more,
Patient.
yeah, patient, but at the same time, don't let yourself fall back into like a casual type of mindset of the company. Still like have to push forward as fast as you can, but in reality, you can't control the outcome to a certain extent of how fast things move forward, right?
It's dependent on all the other sides that are working with you or against you.
Every no you get is good because it shows that people actually respond to your idea. First of all, they understand it. If they're going to say no, give you a reason why, which is something else that I've learned, that no's are good. And yeah, that this process of building the company, you have to have patience, but at the same time, not let that the slow progress slow you down, even though it might slow the actual company down moving forward. But don't let it put you in a sort of casual stroll. Still keep pushing forward, but just expect that the progress is going to be very it's going to be very methodical, if you like. It's slower, not just with a load of quick wins and woohoo, we're going.
Especially at the beginnings, later on when the things start actually moving and you will build all of the base of the business, things progress a little bit faster. But at the beginning, it's just hard work, man. If you were president of the world and you can change one thing, what would you change?
I would change how systems currently exist to support children. So getting them, stuff like child hunger and nutrition and vaccines and shelter and all these things as basic things, right? Bill Gates has tried really hard with this and done really good work, obviously in Africa, but even in the UK now, right? There's kids that are not going to school, they're going to school without breakfast and these type of things for me are unacceptable. So that's what I change. I change the way that money is spent on services, and I would just kids have the best chance in life when they're young, really young, up until the age of like my daughter's 5 now. That period of life I've seen is so important in a kid, that they get the right nutrition, exercise, love, care at home. So that's what I change. Make sure that every child, no matter where they're born, has access to everything they need.
Ben, thank you very much for this conversation. It was a pleasure, as always, to talk to you. I wish you all the best with Solar Palz, and I hope that we can meet in the next 6 months and you will have all of those partnership setups that you will hopefully, if you will want to find a co-founder, and you will be on the right path to actually start fundraising.